We all gas, no brakes, pumped up, no fakes. We spinning, we winning, we high stakes. We never miss, we all makes. Look at us dudes trying to prove, bringing you news with nothing to lose. Mike, Nick, Tony, Wayne, Method Man, we bring the pain. Hey, see, I'ma confess it. We under the pressure. If you looking to find us, we them nothing but Niners. We nothing but Niners. We nothing but Niners. We nothing but Niners. We nothing but we them Niners.
Click, click, boom. What's going on, faithfuls? The Nothing But Niners crew is back. I ain't got myself on mute. Your boy is getting the hang of this thing, man. My guys are here. We about to hold this thing down. We're going to have two quick debates. We're going to get up out of here, man, all right? But before we do, we have to go through the formalities. We want to thank everybody for checking us out here on the YouTube page. If this is your first time here, guys, make sure you give us that thumbs up, okay? Like buttons are very, very important. It helps the algorithms. Other people can find us. People who follow what you follow are now all of a sudden going to follow us without you even telling them to do it. So there's that. Give us those thumbs up, man. Hit the subscribe buttons and turn on your notifications so you know exactly when we're going live. Hit us up on the website, guys. It is www.nothingbutniners.com. That is spelled all the way out. It's going to be your half-stop shop for everything that we do here at Nothing But Niners. Going to get the articles, the podcasts, the videos, the pages about us, the page dedicated to you guys, where you guys can send us your apparel. You got those nice new hoodies with the San Francisco running down the top of them and everything. We want to see them, man. Send it to us, your apparel, your dogs, your cars, your pets, your office, whatever it is, man. Let us know. An email, nb9ers@nothingbutniners.com is the email, all right? One more time, that's nb9ers@nothingbutniners.com down there at the bottom of the screen below Nick, all right? Hit us up on some of our social media platforms as well. We have Twitter and Snapchat. That is Nothing But 9ERS. That is nothing but the number 9ERS. And then we have Facebook and Instagram, and that is Nothing But Niners, spelled all the way out. All words, no numbers, spaces in between. And last but certainly not least, guys, we have your place to get apparel. Okay, if you're looking for the t-shirts, mugs, hats, chains, anything, pants, all of it, it's all over there, guys. That is going to be shopnb9ers.com. That is shopnb9ers.com. I'm your guy, 49ers Mike _NFL on Twitter. Over here, this way is my guy, Breezy. He is 49ers Breezy. That's BREEZIE on Twitter. And then below us, down there, that is my guy, Nick. He is 49er Faithful 365. What's going on, Playboys? How y'all doing today, man?
Gravy, baby.
That's what I'm talking about. Nick, how you doing, man? I know you've been going through it with your head and all that stuff. You feeling all right?
Chilling, man. Chilling. Yeah, just got a migraine, man. Have had him since I was a child, so just this one won't kick for some reason, but it's all good.
Yeah, man, you need sleep, bro. That's the only thing that worked.
Yeah, I already did that yesterday.
You got to stay hydrated, too, man. You drinking a lot of water?
Always, man. That's all I drink. That's all I drink. So this will be a fun little debate, though.
Look at you. Like, I'm over here giving health tips and advice, and I'm drinking alcohol and smoking a cigar. Guys, don't listen to Mike. Mike is not Mike is not the guy to get health advice from. Don't listen to me on nothing I say, all right? But, yeah, Nick, you're absolutely right, man. This should be a very good debate. Or maybe it won't be. Maybe it's going to be super quick. I do have another one that I want to throw in here. We didn't really go through it over the show or, pre-production. Do you guys want to get into that one now, or do you want to stick with what we have here?
Let's stick with the theme of the show, man, and then we'll hit them with that at the end, and maybe we'll do another show to tap that off. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right. So some of you guys may have heard the news. Maybe you haven't, but over the last couple of days, Ravens safety Earl Thomas got caught up in the mix. All right. He and his brother decided that they were going to sneak out, go to this Airbnb. They had a house on lock, and then his brother had a shorty. He had a shorty. And then the next thing you know, his wife turns on his location on the Snapchat. He got busted through Snapchat. Y'all told me Snapchat was the safety. Like, it deletes everything and there was no tracking. I'm going to come back to that. But apparently what happened was Earl Thomas went over. He had his girl over there, or some girl over there. And his wife wasn't playing. She grabbed the strap. She grabbed his brother's girl, and they went over there knocking on doors, put the nozzle to his head, and was like, "Hey, what's up now? What you thinking about?" Now,
that's a scene from a movie, bro. I seen that shit in the movie. Hey, listen, man. Number one, I just want to put this out there, man. I don't condone cheating. If you're in a relationship, I'm a one woman man. But listen, that don't mean others don't get, it is what it is. But that's not what this show is going to be about, right, Nick and Mike? This is not what it's about. So what happened. And the rumor is what Mike needs to get to.
I was going there. I was going to get there, man. It's like
the rumor has it that the Ravens are thinking about cutting ties with the All-Pro safety, and that's why.
And the verbiage in the rumor that I saw is annoying me more than the fact that they're thinking about moving on.
Okay,
the fact that they're thinking about moving on is one thing. I have seen from multiple reports that say the exact same thing. The Ravens are trying to cut Earl Thomas.
Wow.
So let's talk about this.
To avoid in his contract.
Right, but okay, so they're actively looking for a loophole.
They're looking for a loophole.
I think we should discuss this, man. What did he do that's gonna sit there and make them think they can get out of his contract guarantees? Who he's sleeping with has nothing to do with the team.
If it's one of them owner players' daughters or something like that. I mean, listen. Look, man, look. I don't know what the contract. I don't know what language or verbiage is in his contract about defaming the name of the franchise. So if they can find the loophole to where he's bringing okay, hear me? No, don't shake your head yet. Not yet. You can't shake your head yet because what I'm about to bring up is one player that totally dismantled the Ravens franchise. Like the name was tarnished and they had to figure out ways. If you don't know who that player is, then shame on you, Mike. All right. And shame on you, Nick. But we know who I'm talking about. All I'll say is he was a running back. And what he did was he brought what? Okay, so let's talk about it. So let's talk about Ray Rice. Since I ain't want to mention his name, let's talk about Ray Rice.
Domestic violence and busting chops are two different things. Well, that was a bad expression too. I shouldn't have said that one there. But
okay.
Sleeping with somebody and domestic violence are two completely different things, bro.
Listen, I'm not saying that it's not that they're different. I'm talking about defaming the name of the franchise. It doesn't matter what you do. It could be a verbiage, it could be a language clause in his contract that says if you do anything to defame the name of the Ravens franchise, we can get out of this contract. And it's got to be that. Other than that, what he did is that's some personal stuff, man. That's some stuff he need to, he need to get his bank account right because he's going to be paying for a long motherfucking time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she going to be paying too. She probably going to jail. But he going to be – you can't – listen, women, you can't go up in there with the gas strap thinking you ain't going to have no repercussions. You might as well shot the dude. No, not condoning that. Sorry, Nick. Go ahead.
I think the whole Ray Rice thing and the Earl Thomas thing are completely two total different things.
I'm not saying that they're the same, Nick. I'm talking about just defaming the name of the franchise. It doesn't matter what it is. Ray Rice was probably at that was probably like supreme defame. Domestic violence is crazy. It's way worse. Boom, right? But anything to defame, they probably said that and anything else, we can't have that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I mean. So I'm not saying that the accounts are the same. I was just talking about the action. They brought the name of the franchise down, and I don't think that
that's right. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I think it's two different things as into bringing the name down in the thing. You got to remember, you can go back to Ray Lewis as well. That's defaming, denaming the organization. Ray Rice punching a girl on camera, beating the living out of her on an elevator. That's personally putting you as a football player and the organization's name, and that doesn't look good on the team. You here is doing something in your personal life. You cause no harm to anybody.
That was personal. The Ray Rice thing was personal, bro.
No. I said that's why I said they're different. They're different,
but they both personal,
right? Yeah. But Earl Thomas didn't do anything wrong other than being a cheater on his wife.
That's wrong.
But he didn't break a law. That's not a law you're going to go to jail for. So there's differences in that. While we look at it as, he shouldn't be doing what he's doing, as in, cheating on his wife and things like that, but he's not going to jail for that. Ray Rice literally beat the shit out of his wife. And that's a big difference. Like, he physically put his hands on somebody. If anything, the wife of Earl Thomas made this out to be a lot bigger than it was because of the whole gun situation. Then, if there was no gun involved, this would have just been a behind closed doors type of conversation between him and his wife and him and whoever else was involved. And it may have not ever even been public news, right? So players cheat on their wives all the time. Not saying that that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it never makes the news. So therefore, since there was a gun involved, that's where it becomes news, and it becomes, this guy did this, but he did nothing wrong. In the reports, he was just sitting there like with a gun to his head. Like he didn't do anything wrong. So I don't know how they're going to look at to get him out of this contract, because to me, it's just, and if anybody should be charged with anything or kicked off a team or anything, it would be his wife, obviously. So I think it's two different things. What Ray Rice did, Ray Lewis, all them people. And here is Earl Thomas, who cheated on his wife, which happens in everyday life as an athlete. And not saying it's right or wrong. I mean, it's obviously wrong, but I'm not saying that, he did anything to break a law. So that's where the difference is to me.
And to go with what Nick is saying, so Breezy is talking about conduct detrimental, which is a loosely used term that teams can say anything. Oh, you made us look bad, so we're voiding your contract, right? Like it's just it's a super loose term that they're using. But the thing is, when you look at the criminal activity, if any at all, involved in all of this, it had nothing to do with Earl Thomas. Morally, yes, but criminally, nothing. He did nothing wrong. And so that's why it's just funny that they're trying to find a way to get rid of a guy for sleeping with somebody. There's plenty of people within that organization who sleep with people that aren't their spouse. All right. So, and that's my point. One is that they're trying to look for a way to get out. Like that on its own annoys me. It annoys me a lot. And I don't even know if that's true, by the way. I didn't see that, the Ravens came out and said that. This just started coming out of nowhere about a bunch of people saying that this is what they were doing. And that report really, really annoyed me. But the other thing that is coming from all of this, now we're gonna walk away from that part because it's two completely different things. He physically, he criminally, legally didn't do anything wrong. All right. That we're going to leave it at that. He criminally didn't commit any kind of crimes or anything like that. So it's not comparable to anything that we were talking about with other players from that team. Now, all of a sudden, I am seeing 49er fans tweeting John Lynch like they're Spike Lee, bro. Do the right thing. They are trying to get John Lynch hard after Earl Thomas. And it's a conversation we need to have, because I won't sit there and pretend like 49er fans are just now coming up with this out of nowhere. When Earl Thomas was a free agent, everybody wanted them to go out and get him also. So I won't pretend like it wasn't, this is out of left field. But I want to have a conversation with you guys about Earl Thomas versus Jimmie Ward. Now, some people will say that Earl Thomas is more of a strong safety in the system. He's doing what Tart was doing, but I mean, I'm gonna keep it with Jimmie Ward versus Earl Thomas, and I want to know what your guys' thoughts are on this. I don't know which one of you guys want to go first, but have at it, man. I don't know. I'm gonna shut up. Yep. One of y'all go ahead and go.
Go ahead, Wayne.
Nah, you got it, Migraine. You do it.
Migraine. Thanks. Yo, our chat is crazy.
What are you seeing?
The comment where he says, "Too bad he wasn't with a running back." Just read that comment.
Oh, you mean in here? Yeah, man. They cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, yo.
Yo, that comment, dude.
How about the Bills and Clinton supports Earl comment, yo? Like there's just some stuff in here. All right, I love these guys. All right, and ladies.
So,
okay.
Look, I mean, this was a big thing back then, right? We talked about this over and over again. Does Earl Thomas fit this system? Absolutely, right? He fits this system. That part of it we can't deny. The contract that he has, and depending if he gets cut, or whatever it is, how that all works out, that whole situation works out. We just went out and spent money on Jimmie Ward, who had a hell of a year last year. when he was healthy. And the only thing is, if Jimmie Ward has been healthy his entire career here, everybody would love Jimmie Ward, right? Because of his skill set. He plays well. I've talked about this before. I was never big on Jimmie Ward, but when healthy, he finally showed me that, what he has, and he can stay healthy and play. Earl Thomas is getting older in age. His level, I know he was coming off an injury last year, but that still doesn't warrant me to go out and pick him up. I'd rather keep the younger Jimmie Ward, take the chance on him at the price that he's making, and I don't want to get into the contract details of what it would cost, right, to bring an Earl Thomas in here, whether it's strong safety or free safety. Tart is here for another year. We don't know what their plans are for him. Would he be an upgrade over Tart? It's kind of hard to say. And the reason I'm going to say that is because the age difference, the youth, and Tart has just as much time. Well, not just as much time, but he has enough time in this system to know this system well enough. And the only probably big difference in those two is coverage skills. Other than that, they're pretty much the same type of safety. So, to me, I think this, we say this all the time. Niners fans are always wanting to sign somebody else. And it doesn't mean that signing that person is always going to make you better. So, while Earl Thomas is a hell of an athlete, he's had a hell of a career, I don't see him becoming the Earl Thomas he was before injury. And just the trouble that it would bring, as in continuity, I guess you could say, in the locker room. So I'm good. I'm good on the part. I'm good where we're at.
So Nick is planting his flag. He is in the camp. He is Team Ward in this situation. Now we have to talk about it, man. Jimmie Ward, Tart, these guys don't get turnovers, right?
Mike, you're the worst too, by the way, yo.
Huh?
I just want to remind you that you're the worst.
Me?
Yeah, it's 7:30, bro.
What did the battle don't start till 8, they said, right?
It's on right now.
No, it's not. Oh, no, it is.
Anyway, I'm talking, Mike, because you're still the worst.
I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I didn't. All right, so I didn't pick this time or whatever. I didn't.
No, you said 7. Breezy said 7:15. So
I never even said 7.
Someone else suggested
7. No, I did not. Go back and check the chat.
Well, Wayne said, "Can we do 7?" And you said, "Yep, sounds good."
Oh, say it again. Who suggested 7?
Yeah, but you could have said no.
I thought it was going off at 8. I thought this was an 8 o'clock event.
I don't care. Right. We're right here right now. So let's.
I know. So listen, we're gonna keep rocking. But listen, man. So Nick is planting his flag in the ground. He is Team Jimmie Ward, right? But the team does not get turnovers, man, especially from the safety position. The safety position, they don't get turnovers. And Earl Thomas has a nose for the ball. Is he someone that could help us in that situation? Is he significantly worse than what Jimmie Ward was last year? Is it because he was out of the system? Maybe putting him back in the system, this guy will come in here and play much better than Jimmie Ward. I know money is an issue, and we'll talk about that a little bit if you want. But how do you guys feel about that? Breezy, I know you got some numbers over there. How do they compare? There's the draft Bible out there that everybody swears by. I'm talking about PFF. Hopefully we can get those comparisons and things like that. But, I mean, I trust my eyes. I know last year I felt like Ward played significantly better than Earl Thomas. I felt like Earl Thomas missed some tackles that he wouldn't normally miss. He took some bad angles, and I believe it was Breezy and Nick, maybe both of you guys said it. He was coming back off of a nasty injury. Maybe that's why, but another year removed from that, same thing like we did with Richard Sherman. You have to give Richard Sherman that excuse, right? A year removed from that injury, we saw him this year look like the best corner in the league. What's to say that Earl Thomas can't return to form and be the best safety in the league, especially in a system he was groomed for?
Yeah, man. I'm definitely all for Jimmie Ward. I'm definitely one of his biggest supporters. But now we're talking about Earl Thomas, man. And I know we're talking about a guy in his past was like a 7-time All-Pro. Mike, don't you put that volume up because I'm watching it. They going sick. 7-time All-Pro. She got Bruce Lee in the background of her junk, dog. 7-time All-Pro. Pro Bowler. And we're talking about Earl Thomas versus Jimmie Ward. And if Jimmie Ward didn't have a good last year, you guys would be all over Earl Thomas nuts. Let's just keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. And I know Jimmie Ward balled out, but we talk about Earl Thomas over Jimmie Ward. And I love Nick's argument because the only thing Nick said, other than contract situation, was that age. Okay, Nick, I'm with you. Like, I get it. Like, we can't be adding too many more old pieces to the pie. But we talk about Earl Thomas old, and all he has to do is play free safety. You're not even asking this dude to cover nobody. You asking him to play cover 3, single high, free safety, which means cover space. You want interceptions? That's a guy you want on your team. Now, we still got young guys.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Nick.
No, go ahead and finish, and then I'll rebuttal on it.
We still got young guys that are coming up, but you want them coming up learning under Earl Thomas, or you want them coming up learning under Jimmie Ward? Now, I definitely like Jimmie Ward, A, because of his versatility. I like Jimmie Ward, B, because of his work ethic. He doesn't let freaking adversity bring him down. And that's a guy I always want on my team. I'm sorry. But I just think if you bring Jimmie Ward, if you bring Earl Thomas in here, you go to Jimmie and say, hey, Jimmie, we got you under contract, man. How about you slide your ass over and play cornerback? Or how about you slide up in the box and play strong safety? Think about the versatility we have. And Mike mentioned some of my points, man. He talked about Earl Thomas coming back off of a gruesome injury, right? A season-ending ACL injury, right? That's huge, yo. And he also talked about him coming back to his system where he excelled in. They put him in a system that he had to learn. He'll be coming back to a system that he already knows. Other than him being old, I don't see how Earl Thomas wouldn't be better in this system than Jimmie Ward. And I do understand money, but again, I got my money on Parag Marate. Go ahead, Nick.
You said something about interceptions, right? And that's where I was going to cut in. And you got to look at our defense too, right? The ball barely gets thrown over the top because there's no time to be thrown. When the ball does get thrown over the top, Jimmie Ward is usually right there, right? As in good angles, things like that. Do you want to go out and pay this guy a ton of money to get interceptions that he's not even going to have the opportunity to get because of how good our defensive front is?
Good point.
So, that's where we're all talking about interceptions. But
that's not all we're talking
funny
about.
As hell, Mike.
What he do? He chews something that was bad.
Down his chin.
Nasty mother sucker. Nick,
yeah,
Nick, you're 100% correct, bro. But you know what? It's not all interceptions. Let me bring back some Jimmie Ward playback memoirs, right? We watched. Okay, let's talk about we talked about our cornerbacks and how they struggled, right? There was how many times did we see Jimmie Ward be out of position 2 on plays? How he got his ass none? He didn't get his ass turned around in the Super Bowl. Either way, twice is more than once, right? And it's twice more than none, right? And okay, Earl Thomas got trucked by Derek Thomas in the Super Bowl. A lot of people get trucked by Derek Thomas, not the Super Bowl, but like one of the playoff games.
Where was Earl Thomas on that 4th and 2?
What 4th and 2? Well, he got trucked by who?
It was a Niners game.
Oh, you talking about the Niners game?
Where was Earl Thomas on that 4th and 2?
You tell us where Earl Thomas was on 4th and 2.
I'm asking. I don't know. Was he even in the game? Because I see him in the frame.
I know,
safety, right?
I have no idea where Earl Thomas was on that 4th and 2. Well, what I do know is I know Jimmie Ward gave up some big plays, and Nick talked about us not giving up deep balls to get interceptions and things like that. You're 100% correct, yo. They ain't get a chance to throw the ball down the field. But when they did get a chance to throw the ball down the field, sometimes Jimmie was late getting to his side, even though he would save the touchdown, which is what his job is to do, save the touchdown. I think Earl will play the safety position better than Jimmie Ward. I think he lurks the field. He knows the quarterback's eyes. Other than quarterbacks being younger and for quarterbacks he haven't seen before, there's no way you can't tell me that Earl Thomas just isn't the better safety. Even if his stats, even if he's 12 and Jimmie Ward is 6, even if that's what the PFF says.
Right, but I'm just saying, where. So this is a thing that we have to start thinking about too. You can't have all these overpriced guys at certain positions because it's going to lack you in other positions.
I understand.
So we go and we're going. I don't care. Earl Thomas, right, is a great safety. He's going to get paid wherever he goes. He's not going to come here and take less money because of an incident that he didn't even do other than what he did to his wife, right? So there's not like it's not legal binding to where, teams are going to be afraid to pick him up because of the fact that they're afraid he's going to go to jail or, these type of things. So he's going to get picked up somewhere. And the factor is, John Lynch and company, right? And not to say that every person shouldn't be like this, but this locker room is about family. It's about the way that these guys treat people and everything else. We've seen it with Alden Smith. Obviously that was earlier in the years, but I'm saying organizational wise. Then you see it with Reuben Foster, right? With the shit that he had going on. So this, while it's not a law binding thing, this is also things that disrupt a locker room, right? Like we saw it with Alden Smith and Cap. We saw it with, Reuben Foster with the gun and all that stuff. Like he did, physically didn't do anything. I mean, the second time I think he did, but the first time I'm not sure what it was. I don't even remember now because I just kind of flushed that out of my head. But he, this team is building now to where it lasts for longer times. And it's not, let's do it right now. We've been building in free agency. We've been building in the draft. And then we pick up a little bit of free agents here, a little bit of free agents there, and allow them to get an opportunity to make the team. But we can look at our group and go, what free agent really made this team that we didn't take care of in the draft as well? You can say Jordan Matthews, back and forth, injuries. Travis Benjamin is one to see what happens going forward. So I just don't see, like, talent-wise, yes, maybe he is better than Jimmie Ward. He's had years better than Jimmie Ward, but lately he's not better than Jimmie Ward.
One season, Nick. One season.
But that one season can mean everything. You can
but,
have
and,
one bad season.
And it cannot mean everything. So it's a 50-50 thing, right?
It is a 50-50 thing.
Right. So if I'm bringing in a guy that I know was better all his career than Jimmie Ward's career, put careers up, right? And take away the age factor, because I know that's got to be a factor, and take away the money factor. We're just talking about what guys have done. Earl Thomas Earl Thomas has always been the better player. You got Jimmie Ward on one season who did battle with a couple of injuries, right? But they weren't season-ending injuries. He also has been in the system for 2 or 3 with the 2 or 3 years with the Shanahan system, right? Earl Thomas goes to a new team. He's coming off of 2 ACL injuries, if I'm not mistaken, and he's learning a new system, right? So I'm all for who we have.
Right, but you said 2 things in there: take out contract and take out age, which are 2 things that are going to weigh on the Niners' heads to bring somebody in here.
That's bullshit, because they just brought in freaking Trent Williams, who's 31, who's 3 years younger.
But why did they do that?
Because they needed a left tackle.
Do we need a safety?
We're going to next season.
Do we need a safety right now?
We're going to next season, right?
You don't know that.
Isn't all the safeties other than Jimmie Ward free agents? So won't we need safeties?
A free safety, yeah. If Jimmie Ward is here as a free safety, so we don't need a free safety.
And Jimmie Ward can also play cornerback. So
he's not going to. He already said on a thing the reason he chose to come back to the Niners is because he's playing safety.
I said he can, meaning he can. So
but he won't.
So if they go to him and say, we need you to play cornerback for whatever reasons, because we got injuries and we need a cornerback and you're the best we got because we could bring another young cat up to be safety, guess where he's going to play? Cornerback, or his ass will be on the corner side of the field. Like, that's how it works in the NFL. You can say you're not going to do this and that, but I guarantee you ain't no clause in his contract that's saying, yo, I ain't got to play cornerback. It's not there. I'm just saying if he needs to, he can. Like, he has to. If he's with this team, he's going to do whatever it is for the team. I get where his position is. I get where he's strong at. I understand that. But he wasn't bad at corner. So if he has to play corner, he's going to have to play corner. If that's what the coaches say. That's all I'm saying. I get what you're saying, though. I know people saying Ward is overrated. That's bull crap. Ward is not overrated. Ward has earned the spot where he is on this team. But now we're talking about bringing in someone better. So if we were talking about bringing in Jamal Adams, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
All right. So we now listen, because we're gonna start saying other people and all that stuff, right?
Well, I only said other people because of Jamal Adams and his age being younger.
No, I get it. But this is what I want to say. Right? When it comes to Ward, he's definitely more diverse as far as diversity. He can play all over the secondary, right? Earl Thomas cannot do that.
Correct.
He can't. We know that for a fact. Okay. Earl Thomas, in my opinion, had a worse year than Jimmie Ward did. Than Jimmie Ward did. I like Jimmie Ward's play from what I saw. I didn't watch every single Ravens game. I saw a lot of them because people were talking about him a lot. You got to see it, right? But I didn't see.
I remember Debo like dusting Earl Thomas in the Ravens game, like
right,
completely destroying him.
Right, but and so what I'm saying is maybe he doesn't fully recover from that injury. Maybe he does, right? But what's not fair to say is ignore age, injury, and salary. And the reason is because of this, right? If they cut him, which they haven't been able to do yet, and I doubt they're going to be able to trade him because of that contract. If they do find a way to cut him, right? What kind of money is he going to demand to come to the Niners? Not just come to the Niners. He's going to be on the open market, and it's immediately going to be a bidding war. You're not going to outpay some of these teams. So the salary does have to play a factor into it, and the age because of healing injuries. It's all gonna be a major factor in it, right? But this is what I wanted to say on all this, right? Because this can go a lot of different ways, especially with these two guys. Both of them are talented. We are looking at one guy recovering from injuries and playing better, and one guy recovering from an injury and playing worse. Doesn't mean that they can't. So right now, this is what it was. All right, let me try to do it this way. This is Earl, right? And Earl was up here, and this was Jimmie Ward, right? And because Jimmie Ward was injured, he was always down here, and Earl was always way up here, right? Then there was injuries, and right now they've seemed to have done this just real quick, just for a brief moment in time, right? But that doesn't mean that they can't do this, or it can't be this, or it can't be with Jimmy still on top. The thing is, what do you guys want to do at the position if you had to choose between the two? Because that's what this is all coming down to here. And Breezy, I know you got the numbers over there. We're gonna get to the hoodies in a second. I mean, damn it, I read a comment. I'm sorry. We're gonna get to the to the numbers in a second. But like, if you sit back and you look at what this team needs, right? And think about this for a second, Breezy. With how diverse Jimmie Ward is, with as many people in the secondary not available going forward, who is more valuable to this team? Which individual player would be more valuable to this team in the long term?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I would say Jimmie Ward because he's younger.
Okay, now that doesn't mean you can't add Earl Thomas and move Jimmy somewhere else, which is what your point was.
Which is my point.
Right.
Like, I know that's not the original. I don't know what the hell the original question is. I didn't even know we were choosing between one or the other. I thought it was going to be just like
a comparison show, right? But that's what I want to do. I want you to pull up those numbers there. I know you got the numbers over there. Let's try to reel this thing in here. Let's talk about these numbers, and let's see who had a better year. Again, this is according to PFF. And you guys know I don't. You guys know I'll put it out there right now. You guys know how I feel about Akello Witherspoon. They have him rated as one of the worst corners in the NFL, and I think he's one of the best. All right, so I'm just putting that out there to make it clear that I don't really care what these numbers say, but I do want to look at it because this is something that people, the majority of our viewers, they take this as the not so much gospel, but they value what PFF has to say. And so I do want to pull those numbers up here. Let's have that discussion here. And by the way, Rocco, your count was wrong. Nick did curse before Breezy did. He did it twice, actually, when he was talking about Ray Rice. He said he beats the S out of his wife and he something else. So I just wanted to let Rocco know. I put the comment up there. Y'all not just going to sit here and give Nick a bye because he got a migraine, okay? I was listening to it. I was looking. I saw Nick's face like, what? No, I didn't. Oh yeah, never mind. I saw you.
I don't consider shit a curse word, so.
Yeah. You tell that to the people who make movies. You say a shit, you go from G to PG. And ratings change just like that.
All
It's
right,
all right.
give me a second. You guys keep talking. I just want to take a
So,
snapshot.
so while he's doing that, no, it's all good, Rock. I'm just messing with you guys. I'm just having some fun here, man. We're all having fun. Breezy's mad at me because they do these versus battles on Instagram. And Breezy, I am super sorry, man. We've been waiting for Jill Scott and Erica Badu for a long time, and they're going at it right now live. And oh man, I'm sorry, Breezy.
It's all good, bro.
And
It's
I want to get to Mike's point. I want to get to Nick's point with he said that this locker room is like family, right? But who is Richard Sherman closer with? Anybody in this locker room or Earl Thomas?
Earl Thomas.
It's definitely Earl Thomas. They will welcome him in here with open arms. They would not hesitate at all. And I'm talking about Richard Sherman. I'm talking about all the other players and everything. Hell, I think even Jimmie Ward would welcome Earl Thomas into the locker room, saying, "All right, let's get better. Let's compete and let's win this chip." You know what I mean? What was Jimmie Ward's contract? Does anybody know? How many? Just is it 1 year, 2 years, 3 years?
2 years, I believe.
2 or 3 year deal, right? So he's here. You know. So it's not like these guys are gonna It's not like these guys like Earl Thomas would be introduced and complete chaos and pandemonium would ensue. These guys were in each other's weddings.
3 year deal, $28.5 million.
Right, 3 year, right. So he's gonna, Earl Thomas, Richard Sherman, they were in each other's weddings. These guys are gonna be here. It's not like it would come in here and just make this a hostile environment. It wouldn't at all. It really, really wouldn't. So it's cool.
I disagree.
You think introducing Earl Thomas would create hostility in the locker room?
I think Jimmie Ward would sit out.
How much? What was his contract?
3 years, $28 million.
No, he wouldn't. I'll ride the pine and be active every single day. Pay me. Because
when I listened to his interview when he was on our San Francisco 49ers, he was saying that the main reason he came back here for the type of money was because he was promised to play safety and that he would not have to play any other position on this field unless dire need. And that was the only reason he came back here was because they were putting him back in his original position. And I'm telling you, I think that would go over wrong with him of taking away from his free agency and him being able to sign somewhere to stay with a team to play the same position that he wanted.
You could have Richard Sherman as your right corner, rated at a 90. You can have Earl Thomas as your safety, rated at a 90. You have Jaquiski Tart, rated as an 82. I'm just making these numbers up. Then you could take Jimmie Ward's 90 and put him over at your left corner. You think Jimmie Ward's going to argue about that and not walk away happily knowing he's got the best secondary and the best group of people behind him?
I just don't see him playing corner. He flat out said that he'll do it, but he doesn't like it. So why are you going to want to play something that you don't like?
Hey, running backs got to learn to block, right? They don't like it, but they do it. Fullbacks got to
Yeah, but they're still playing in their same position. That's telling them to do different things in that position. That's not changing your position.
That secondary is the secondary, bro. When it all comes down to it, if there's a need or an opportunity to improve, I can promise you that the team does not care. They're going to say what they have to say to get him to sign that paper. We have his rights for 3 years, and we are willing to pay him almost $10 million a year for those rights. He's got the money now. He signed the paper, and he
got $17 million guaranteed, so it's less than $10 million. But
he's going to play wherever they need him to play. That's just the way it is. I mean, he might not be happy about it. We saw Eric Reed complain openly at the microphone about playing linebacker, but guess what his ass did? He lined up at linebacker, and he was actually pretty good. He lined up at linebacker, and he did it, and then he even blamed the Niners after he left. The reason I couldn't get signed right away is because people didn't know what to play me as. They moved me all over the place. He couldn't stand what the Niners did to him. Doesn't mean that Jimmie Ward will be happy about it, but he's going to do what needs to be done because he wants to be out there. He wants to put good film out there, and he wants to get another contract. That's all I'm saying. All right, you got the numbers now, Breezy? We good?
All right, so let's start with Earl Thomas numbers. All right, so
these are career numbers here. Okay, I see. So last year was his whoa.
Yeah, he was ranked pretty low. His coverage was 86.1. His run defense was a 53.2. His pass rush grade was a 67.4. And his defensive overall grade was a 76.9. So, correct. They were pretty low in 2019.
Is that his career or just 2019? Because he's always been piss poor in the run.
It says 2019 on the very left-hand side. I'm sorry that the pictures are small. Then the careers in the middle. They'll show all his years. He went from a
91.3
to a 76.9. But remember in 2018, how many games did he play, guys? So let's
That's
take
what I'm saying. He didn't play a lot.
so let's take the 2017 season where he was a 90.2 because he played that whole season. And you got to factor in the fact that this guy did go to a new system. I'm not sure what type of defense system that they run in Baltimore. And he was coming off the injury. He wasn't just coming off of a regular injury. He was coming off of a ACL, correct?
Yeah, I believe it was ACL injury.
Not Achilles. I think it was his ACL. It was a broken leg.
Yeah, the one where he gave the finger.
Yes. Because he didn't want to play. They wasn't trying to pay him, in Seattle. So he ended up playing anyway, and then boom, that happened to him. I guess my issues though is like, I know his numbers were pretty low in 2019. I just don't see. So can I ask this question because I'm just a little confused. Like I know a lot of people talk about his character, and I'm just confused to where his character has been bad prior to the situation that just happened. So can you just
the finger on the field and giving the coaches the middle finger and stuff? That's not bad character.
I mean, he was just saying F the coaches that wasn't trying to bet on him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he didn't want. Look, man, if you give your life to a team for a certain amount of years and they not trying to show no faith in you or whatnot, I could kind of get it. You don't middle finger your job when you walk out. You man, I do it all the time.
But I don't do it to their faces.
I do.
That's still not a bad character thing. You don't want to see it, right? I understand that, but let's be real here. Why was he upset about that? He was begging Seattle to give him an extension. He threatened to hold out. That was the last year of his contract, and he told them, "If I get hurt, are you guys still going to pay me?" There, oh, don't worry. Get out there and play. And what happened? He broke
Mike,
his
that's just going about what you just said. Like you're like with the whole Jimmie Ward type thing, playing corner. Like you get pissed off because you don't want to do something that you're not supposed to, but you're under contract. You have to do what they say. He was
not under contract the following year, and
but that year he was.
Nick,
so what's the difference of Jimmie Ward holding out and not playing corner compared to Earl Thomas getting pissed off because he got hurt in a game that he didn't want to play in because he didn't get an extension?
I will happily answer that for you. Jimmie Ward is under contract for the next 3 years. Earl Thomas did not want to play without future guarantees because it was the last year of his contract.
But he was still under contract.
It was the last. Are you listening? Are you just going to ignore what I'm saying? I'm telling you that he didn't have
because I understand what you're saying, but he was still under contract. He still is working for them. They tell him what to do. It doesn't matter what his years after that are. That year he's under contract.
But guess what he did, fellas? He played. He played.
Right.
And he lost that bet. We sat here and just had a conversation a couple nights ago saying that we would not be mad at George Kittle if he didn't walk out there and play, because if he broke his leg, it's going to screw his future up. We all just said that, but now all of a sudden it's Earl Thomas is different. It's no different at all. He was one of the best players
with George Kittle, but okay.
He was one of the best players on that team, on that defense, and the defense is what made that team, right? And he's asking you guys for some security in the future in case something happens to me. And what happened? They said no. He went out there, something happened to him, and they did not re-sign him. They tossed his ass out there to the Sharks. The Ravens just happened to give him a nice sized contract. That's it. But there was no guarantee in that. There was no guarantee that the Ravens were going to do that. Like it's the same exact thing as what we were talking about with George Kittle. I sat here and I said out loud and proud that if I'm George Kittle's agent, I'm telling my client don't touch the field without an extension. And I'm a Niners fan. I want George Kittle out there, but I understand what stupidity is, and it would be stupid for George Kittle to go out there and touch the field and God forbid break something, have a season-ending injury, and he's trying to negotiate for a contract. It doesn't make any sense, and that's what Earl Thomas was trying to avoid. So him giving the finger to the Seahawks sideline and the coaching staff and all that was pure emotion. I'm never going to fault a football player, especially one that just got injured, for acting out emotionally. I will never fault him for that. And if that's all you got that says that he's a bad character person, then it doesn't qualify for me.
And let's talk about the simple fact that, wow, how lucky was he? Like, You know, this is not my bromance with Earl Thomas, guys. This is just about just getting another player that'll help, I think would just improve our secondary. That's all this is for me. Getting a better player to improve in our secondary. Talk about the gamble that he took. Not only did he take a gamble, man, how lucky was he to get that contract? Like, how lucky was he to get a contract coming off of a broken leg and still be the highest? What is he the highest paid safety in the NFL right now? I mean, that's kind of what the Ravens do, right? Like, they pay their safeties that top dollar. I mean, just Ed Reed, and they just make sure that if they got that single high guy, they go ahead and pay him, man. But yeah, man, that's what he gave us last year. So if we're talking about numbers and comparing stats, Earl Thomas was doo-doo compared to what I'm about to pull up on this, put up on this page. All right. So I just want to put that out there because I'm never ever going to bash on our guy Jimmie Ward. I think this is the right one. So just give me a second.
Now, I do want to say we got the comment here from Sean again, right? And listen, I understand that it was not professional. I am not saying that it was. I'm not saying that it was appropriate. But what I'm saying is, if that's the worst thing you got that speaks to someone's character, that's nothing. That is nothing in the grand scheme of things. That's something that the team don't even think about the next day. Oh, Earl was pissed off. Did you see it? Yeah, guys, we probably should have given him a contract or something, or tagged him or something. The team sits there and says, we understand in that situation. That's nothing that they're harboring hard feelings and ill will against him. I promise you, Pete Carroll wanted to cry when he saw Earl Thomas getting carted off. I promise you that. Finger or not, that's how Pete Carroll felt, and all those coaches on that sideline. So yeah, that's what it is. They're all over there doing the praying symbol. Y'all not praying for me. Y'all don't care about me or my well-being. And here comes the bird. That's why. If y'all cared about me and my well-being, you would have given me some security in the future. That's what it is. I'm a grown man out here putting my life on the line for you and this team, and how do y'all repay me? Literally, you don't. They literally did not repay him at all. And they let him walk. That does not tell me that he's a bad character guy. Having an affair, all right, morale. We can talk about that. That's a separate conversation. I don't play those games. Y'all know I'm a family man. I'm family first all day, every day. Right? Absolutely. But that's something different. I can't speak to everybody and how they feel about marriage. A lot of people think marriage is a joke. It's a tax write-off. That's how some people look at it. So, it is what it is. See, and that's exactly what Dre's point is here. He paid for it. I'm going to put it up here. Where'd it go? There it is right there. Cheating on your wife shows great character. It has nothing to do with his character. That's a morality thing. That's wrong in the eyesight of certain people. There's other places in the world where people have more than one wife. So what's the difference? It depends on who you're asking. That's a personal opinion. He's not out there beating women, beating children, tying up dogs and stuff. He's not doing none of that stuff. That's the stuff y'all should be upset about. You know what I'm saying? He's not out here violating, being racist, and none of that stuff. You're telling me that he's mad because he's sleeping with another person? He's a multi-millionaire. He's a good-looking young man, and he's out there living his best life. Hey, look, I don't agree with it, but that don't mean that I'm going to sit here and say that he's wrong. All right? I'm not going to sit here and crucify this guy over that. That's all I'm saying. Now, I said already I wouldn't do it. I'm going to leave it at that. Let's keep it moving. I know Breezy got another graphic he wants to put up, and I saw another comment under Dre's, if I could find it. Here it is right here.
Hold on, I got to go on mute.
He said they understood. They got rid of him. Hey, they read that message loud and clear. And I promise you this, after that moment, I guarantee you he didn't want to play for them either. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they ever offered him another contract. I won't pretend to know the ins and outs of this guy because I hated him. He was a Seahawk. Facts. I couldn't stand him. You know what I'm saying? I did not like seeing him being carted off the field. I didn't like that. I've never cheered for injury against anybody, any player out there. I'm not that guy. However, I did not feel that that he was wrong in what he did at all.
Correct. At all. All right, man. Let's get to our guy stats, man.
Look at my dog, finally healthy. Look at all those injured years underneath.
I'm not. Dang.
Jesus, man. Look at this dude. Is he a baseball player? Are those batting averages? Like,
yo, let's talk about 2019, though. Number 6 overall, 84.9. His pass rush grade was less, so they don't use Jimmie Ward in the blitz a lot, right? But they use Earl Thomas on the blitz a lot. Earl Thomas reminds me like of a Troy Polamalu type guy. You know what I'm saying? He'll line up there and try to get to the quarterback. I'm not saying he's as effective as Troy Polamalu, but he's kind of like he could get to the quarterback. His coverage grade was higher though. A lot of people says he plays better in man coverage than Earl Thomas. And his run defense grade is lights out. Look at that, yo, 83.1. So, I mean, I wish I could see the stats on the left hand side for like 2017 for Earl Thomas, so I can see how well his and maybe his run grade was or his pass coverage grade was when he was at full strength. You know what I'm saying? Because that's kind of like, to me, that throws the curveball in here, because I don't want to take 2014, 15, 16, 17, or 18 for Jimmie Ward because he was injured for most of those seasons, right? I think 2015 was his sophomore year in the NFL, second year in the NFL, and that was his best season until last season, which was his contract season, Mike. We ain't talk about that neither, though. We ain't talk about a motherfucker going out there balling out. Yes, I can edit myself. We ain't talk about a guy going out there balling out because he got to get paid. He got to feed his family. So, I mean, that could spike the numbers up. And I think this will be the real test for Jimmie Ward. This is his first year under his new contract, and we're going to see if he can keep it up. And I'm all for Ward, guys. This isn't about me not being all for Ward. This is more saying, if Earl Thomas becomes available, why not go out and talk to him or have a conversation? They did it for Tom Brady, but we had Jimmy Garoppolo. They went and talked to him. You know what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is go out and talk to the dude, man. I think Jimmie Ward is our guy. He's the guy who we have in this defense, because I ain't going to be before y'all long. I done missed an hour of this thing, and Mike can laugh all he want, but right now I'm missing some Badu. All right, so where Nick go? Nick is chilling. Nick is missing. Mike, you back?
I'm here, big dog. And this just shows, that they played on opposite ends of the spectrum. Not so much, Earl Thomas's numbers weren't horrible. They just weren't here. And that's saying a lot, because PFF did not like Jimmie Ward prior to that, because I'm looking at his grades for overall throughout the years, and he wasn't that bad either. And again, I told y'all how I feel about these PFF stats and numbers and all that, but you can't tell me that Jimmie Ward has ever played that bad where he was a 55, a 54, a 48. He's never played. When he's on the field, he is one of the better players in the NFL. Nick has come on here and said it, and Nick was not a high on Jimmie Ward type of guy either. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. I'm happy we have Ward. And going all the way back to the very beginning, this is Earl Thomas versus Jimmie Ward. My final vote would be keep Jimmie Ward, keep the money, and let's keep it pushing, man. We made it to the Super Bowl. I say if you can retain those guys and try to run it back, then that's what you're supposed to do. That's what the Niners have done. I don't even think they're going to look for an Earl Thomas, even if he becomes available.
I agree, yo. I definitely agree with that, man.
But I appreciate you playing devil's advocate, man.
No doubt. No doubt.
Get off ET nuts.
And one thing about me, man, I don't even eat nuts, so I ain't on nobody nuts. So thank you for the contribution, though.
Absolutely, absolutely. Nick, what are your thoughts on it all, man?
I mean, my thoughts don't change. They're the same. You keep a guy that's younger, already under contract for 3 years. You build around him. When he's healthy, he's probably a top 10 safety in his league. Has he made mistakes? Yeah. Same thing with, corners and, safeties all over the league. I just don't see Earl Thomas becoming the Earl Thomas he was with the Legion of Boom again. I don't see it. I see potential in Jimmie Ward just increasing his potential of being better as long as he can stay healthy. So I'm not taking the chance of, losing money and good players elsewhere to bring in somebody in a position that we're already okay. Like we're good at. We're not great, but we're good. Mm-hmm. And you can only get to be that great by playing. You've heard John Lynch say it a ton of times. He was talking about Jalen Hurd with Peter King, and he's like, the best ability is availability. And, because Peter King was saying how Jalen Hurd was the best wide receiver, best player on the field during that preseason, and then he got hurt. And, John Lynch said the same thing. He says, the best ability is availability. And that was my biggest take with Jimmie Ward the entire time he was here, was he's an athletic, versatile, really good player. But if he can't be available and help us, then it doesn't mean keep a spot for him. It means move on, take your loss, and move on. But Jimmie Ward stayed healthy last year. He's shown something. And if he can stay healthy and continue, I'm okay with him at that position. I don't think we need to upgrade to become even better and I don't think the team is looking for upgrades back that way either. They're building from the front to the back, and they're going to get as good as they can up front. And with the defensive linemen and the linebackers, and the rest is just, we can play average if we play great up front. So, to me, I'm keeping Jimmie Ward.
So we all agree there. That last comment was up there for a reason. I did not mistakenly click that comment. It was, he's not coming. Why are we wasting time talking about it? I just want to make it clear. On this show, we talked about 3 different occasions where whether or not the 49ers should be contacting Washington about left tackle Trent Williams. We did it last year twice, and we did it one time this offseason, and people kept saying Joe Staley's not going he's not going anywhere. Why are we wasting time talking about it? Don't tell us what to discuss. There's a reason we have these conversations on these shows, okay? So I understand that you guys might not think it's a possibility, but we're not wasting our time having these conversations.
That day in the draft, people were saying he's not coming here. He's not coming here, and then bang, we traded for him.
The day that he got traded to us, talk your shit, Nick.
People were like, "Why are we talking about Trent Williams? He's not coming here. There's no possible way he's coming here." And then, bam, the news breaks on that show that the Niners signed Trent Williams. So we have to cover everything that's out there, and
this is going to continue. Just because we don't sign a player doesn't mean that the team wasn't talking about it. I kept saying the Niners are not considering Tom Brady. They're not considering Tom Brady. And what did John Lynch, big mouth ass, go right to the microphone and say? We were in on it. We were considering. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying?
They're always going to look at the possibility.
Right. Thank you. And so it's on us to be those guys that have the conversations for you guys. That's what we're here for, guys. Like, listen, it might not happen. It might be far-fetched, whatever the case is, but that's what we're here to do. We are here to discuss all things that may concern the 49ers. Earl Thomas is one of those guys because he's a system fit. He is a proven veteran, and he has a I was going to say a rap sheet, but that sounds bad, right, with what's going on right now. But he is one of those guys that will fit in this system. He's a plug-and-play guy, and it won't take a lot of time to get to know anything about the system. So that's why we have these conversations. We don't just pull this out of nowhere. Every time a player gets cut, we don't just jump on here and say, oh, we should get this guy, we should get this guy. Remember when everyone was saying the Niners should go after Andrew Norrell, the guy, the guard that was it the guard? Yeah, the guard that he was cut by the Panthers, or the Panthers didn't re-sign him. And everyone was like, oh, the Niners should get him, the Niners should get him, da-da-da-da. We spent this much time on him because we didn't see him as a system fit. We did discuss it because he was a free agent at a position of need, but we kept it moving. We don't have full shows dedicated to people for no reason. Okay, Miss Debbie here. This is my homie. This is my girl, Faithful. The fellas of NBN come here to give us great topics about the team we love, and y'all can't give them a like. That's sad, fam. Come on, hit that like button. Let's go. Hit that like button. Y'all heard it. And now, real quick, I know we're approaching the hour. Let's try to knock this out real quick. Man, Matt Miller, supposedly a 49ers fan, also supposedly a Chiefs fan.
He's the worst 49ers fan like ever. I don't even know if we consider him a fan. Like, he's a backseat driver, I guess you could say. When the Niners are doing good, he's an ultimate fan. When the Niners are not, he's got shit to talk.
Yeah. So a report came out, and I saw so many Niner fans jumping on it saying that Jimmy Garoppolo is the 4th.
No, don't say what I think you about to say.
I promise you.
He's the 4th best quarterback in the NFC West.
Get the fuck out of here.
I promise. And then listen to this. Now, the 49er truthers were like, no, he's not the 4th. He's the 3rd best.
Wow.
So even people who supposedly break down film, watch all this film and everything.
Wait a minute. What about the people that just go off of stats? Because if I'm not mistaken, he was the best statistical quarterback over Russell Wilson in the NFC West. I mean, I'm getting loud. I got to bring the migraine down. Just tell me if I'm wrong, though. Just tell me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Statistically, he was the best. Okay. All right.
Yeah. And this is my point here, man. I do want to discuss this. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it, but I do want you guys to rank your NFC West quarterbacks in order from top to bottom, not bottom to top, from top to bottom, And then when you wherever you have Jimmy Garoppolo on your list, give me a why he's there as opposed to number 4 or number 1. Wherever he is, wherever you have him on your list, let me know why you have him there. And if it's possible for him to be better.
I'll go first. I mean,
the media is going to on
go
EP,
ahead.
then the Niners might be the best organization for him to clear his name if he balls out for us. Just saying, consider it. You never know, man. You never know. You never know.
Canada in the building. Good point. It's a good point, man.
Mhm.
This might be a team of restoration. You know how people say they like taking the bad guys and going to New England because it's a no play zone in New England.
Yep.
You might be right.
Let's talk about it. All right, fellas, here we are, man. We on the Jimmy Garoppolo topic. This is going to be our last topic of the evening, unless there's some breaking news while we're on. Someone in the comments almost made me think that George Kittle got a contract extension. I saw a comment, and I was like, wait, what? And I went and searched real quick, but I didn't see anything. So let's talk about it, fellas. What are your guys' thoughts on it? Where do you guys have our starting quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo, ranked? Let's put these NFC West quarterbacks in order, all right? So the 4, in case people don't know, the 4 quarterbacks for the NFC West are as follows: Russell Wilson, the dude with the Rams, Jared Goff, Kyler Murray, and Jimmy Garoppolo. What order do you guys have these guys in?
Nick's going first.
I got Wilson, Garoppolo, Goff, and then Murray right now.
All right, and I'll just give mine, and then we can talk about it. Cool. I got Wilson, Garoppolo. Russell Wilson, Garoppolo, Murray, then Goff.
And I agree with you. I have the same exact order of 4 right now. Doesn't mean that it can't change in the future. Doesn't mean that these guys are going to have better careers than but that's the current way I see it. As far as now, when I do this, I'm not looking at just the stats. I'm looking at ability and the effectiveness in which they run an offense. That's how I am determining this. Okay, the stats don't matter to me. It's the ability that they have, all the different attributes, all right? And then their ability to effectively run an offense. Now, let's talk about why. First of all 3 of us had one position as a sweep. That was Russell Wilson at number 1.
Correct.
Do you guys see a chance anywhere where anybody can unseat Russell Wilson as the best quarterback in the NFC West?
I do.
I do too.
All right, so let's go back to Nick, and then we'll go back to Breezy, and we'll talk about it.
I think if Jimmy Garoppolo can control his, how can I say this, anxiousness to throw into silly coverage, that he'll surpass Russell Wilson. And what I mean by that is giving up the football and, not seeing linebackers that can drop back into coverage and take those picks and things like that Jimmy has been robbed on. Now, I'm not going to go completely on interceptions because some of Jimmy Garoppolo's interceptions are off of receivers' hands. So I'm not going to say, but I'm not going to say that it's all his fault. But there are things where Jimmy Garoppolo can get better at, and that's reading coverages across the middle, seeing linebackers, seeing safeties be able to drop over. If Jimmy Garoppolo can fix those issues and the anxiousness to throw, I think he can surpass Russell Wilson as a quarterback.
All right, so to go along with what Nick said, he's correct. I did listen to our general manager, John Lynch, and John Lynch said that Kyle Shanahan loves it when Jimmy throws the ball, is a gunslinger. He wasn't concerned about interceptions. Because he likes it that Jimmy lets the ball rip and sometimes takes chances. He likes the fact that he's a risk taker. What Nick said, he definitely, I'm not going to say once he improves and reading coverages, because I believe he will. And here's why. They're building the pocket for him to throw the ball. They're going to build an offensive line to give him the time to throw the ball. Will he ever be as great as Russell Wilson outside of the pocket? Probably not. It's not his skill set, right? We want Jimmy in the pocket throwing the ball. We watched him hold the ball to a millisecond before he before he gets hit, and that ball's a dart on target, right? That's Jimmy G's strengths. So Nick, you're 100% correct, man. I agree with you, bro. But what can he do to improve? It's that It's also not premeditating his throw. Is that the right word? Predetermining, excuse me, his throws. I think that's the right word. Like saying, "Hey, I'm gonna drop back. I'm in shotgun. I'm only going to this guy." Like that's where he gets himself in trouble. And so once he learns how to play better in shotgun, he'll definitely surpass Russell Wilson. And number two, if he wants to surpass, well, number three, because Nick said number one. That was number two. Number three, he better learn how to throw the motherfucking check down. I swear to God, if he can't throw a check down pass coming out of in this season, I'm gonna smack the shit out. I'm gonna find Jimmy G. We're gonna have an arm wrestling contest because he better learn how to get that ball to the check down. Once he does that, man, this guy will be no holds barred. Who's the best quarterback in the NFL?
In the whole league, bro?
The NFL.
Talk your shit, Breezy. Talk that talk, baby. That's what I like to hear. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna go with here. My original question, well, not the original, but the secondary question was: is there a chance for him to unseat Russell Wilson? I'm gonna tell you guys that is a long task. I respect Russell Wilson a lot more than most 49er fans do. Okay, I think Russell Wilson is a top 3 quarterback in the NFL right now. Top 3. We have never seen Russell Wilson with a consistent offensive line, ever. And when plays break down, he is the master of staying alive behind the line of scrimmage to find somebody. Okay, that is an ability. That's a God-given ability. Okay, and the reason Seattle is so successful is because although they have a bad offensive line most of the time, they have a Russell Wilson that will keep them in games. It's going to take a lot for Jimmy Garoppolo to get to that section, that part of his game plan. But here he's only got one full season. Doesn't mean that he can't actually do it. Okay. Russell Wilson is a very, very special quarterback in the league. I wish, well, let me phrase this the right way. I wish I could see him with a good offensive line outside the NFC West. Okay. Let me put it to you guys like that, because I think that his wide receivers don't get enough credit because they could run pristine routes, but if he's on the move and being, the plays are thrown off, we won't see what the wide receivers can do, and we won't see what the quarterback can do in true time. Jimmy Garoppolo's biggest fault to me is trusting Kyle Shanahan's play call too much. When Kyle Shanahan gives him this should be wide open, he trusts it to the point where he doesn't look. Nick talked about it with not seeing linebackers who are just waiting just 4 yards off of where he's throwing the ball. 4 yards is not that far when you cock your arm. I understand he has one of the quicker releases, but when they see him go up and his head is still looking that way, they know where he's going. 4 yards is easy to get over there and get your hands on the ball, or you got to remember that it's a crossing route, so he's throwing it to where the guy is, and he's just throwing it in rhythm. Once Jimmy gets more comfortable in this system, it's going to be really, really hard for him to be better than Russell Wilson, but it's not entirely impossible. It's not impossible. I just think that we have to see it consistently. Jimmy has to learn to read that first read and see where they're heading, and then learn to get off of it quickly. Because I saw it even in the Super Bowl last year. Even when you watch the replays of the Super Bowl, he drops back and his head, and it's easy to tell with the stripe on the 49ers.
Yeah, he telegraphs a lot.
Yeah, he's telegraphing the throws, and he's got to understand that Kyle Shanahan, he is drawing up plays that should work, but those are the same plays that people study. These guys are all the people on the other side of the ball are watching film and looking for tells. They are looking for formations and all that. That's why Kyle Shanahan will run a bunch of different plays from the same exact formation. But sometimes those teams are going to get it right. They're going to know what that play is eventually, and that's when Jimmy has to be able to get off of that read and go somewhere else quickly. So that's why it's not impossible for him to unseat Russell Wilson as the best quarterback in the NFC West. But right now, I don't see it happening anytime soon. We'll see what happens this year. And as far as the rest of these guys, I don't know if you guys want to talk about the rest of your rankings, but I will say the reason I have Kyler Murray ahead of Jared Goff, where I have him as third, is because of his ability. And similar to what I said about Russell Wilson, that offensive line is super inconsistent, and he can keep a play alive. The difference is Kyler. No, there's not much. There's not a lot of difference. I'll be honest with you guys. Kyler will try to keep a play alive behind the line of scrimmage, and if they don't give him anything, he'll just scramble for a couple of yards. Russell Wilson does something very similar. They're both exciting to watch, and I think that's where people get it a little confused. They take people who have more natural abilities and look at them and say, oh, they're better than the guy who doesn't have that. No one ever ever said Michael Vick, who probably had the most talent in the last, 15 years of a quarterback overall, him and Cam Newton, right? As far as physical talent goes, no one ever said that they were better than Tom Brady. Tom Brady's not going to get outside the pocket. He's not going to extend plays super long, right?
That's the thing. That's the thing. They're like different quarterbacks. Like,
right.
That's why I consider like the whole Cam Newton, Andy Dalton type thing. Like, I look for more of a pocket passing quarterback. So that, when I'm talking quarterback, I'm not talking a guy that's going to get outside the pocket and run. Like, I'm just not talking that. That's just the ability and have the athleticism to get out of the pocket and make something work. But even when you look at Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson anymore, there used to be plays designed for Russell Wilson just to take off and go. Kyler Murray there is right now. Mm-hmm. And if Kyler Murray isn't doing that, he's checking down. He barely throws the ball downfield. So that's why I still have Goff higher than Kyler Murray right now.
And that's fine, but the difference is the accuracy for me. And I see exactly what you're saying. I just think that even when Kyler does throw down the field, he has no problem hitting guys in stride. He's got one of the prettier deep balls in the NFL, in my honest opinion. And that's why I have him just ranked higher than Jared Goff. Jared Goff last year did not do him any favors. He was just all over the place. He was throwing, 4 yards short of guys, over guys, behind guys, and everything in between. But I understand. I 100% understand your take. But it's growth. We're looking at this as last year and what they have the potential to be. And right now, that's just the way I have my rankings. But to have Jimmy Garoppolo as 4th, it's just nuts to me. And that's what happens when you look at the ability of guys to scramble and run, and you count that as a tool, right? That's not their primary job. People are going to say the same exact thing about Lamar Jackson. If you ask the people, how many people are watching? 250 people are in the chat right now. And if people had to choose between Jimmy Garoppolo and Lamar Jackson, you're going to see some votes for Lamar Jackson, where I wouldn't touch Lamar Jackson, especially in this system. I would not touch Lamar Jackson because it's a rhythmic throwing system. You have to deliver on time. You have to deliver quickly. And he's got a rocket for an arm. He is definitely way more physically gifted. But people see those things and they say, oh, then that means he's better. Not necessarily. It's about how you can effectively run an offense. And right now, Jimmy Garoppolo is doing that better than the other 2 guys in the NFC West. And so that's why I have the rankings the way I do. I'm glad you guys all had Jimmy 2nd, actually, right?
Yep.
So we had Russell Wilson 1st and Jimmy 2nd. It was just the bottom 2 positions that we flip-flop. So we won't belabor in it. We won't beat a dead horse here or anything like that. We'll wrap this thing up. We got a lot of IG show to still enjoy. So Breezy won't kill me. I'm sorry, Breezy. And we want to thank everybody for checking us out here, man. Jimmy Garoppolo is not the 4th best quarterback in the NFC West, not even close. I don't know. Another thing, Faithful. Let me just say this real quick. Stop giving trolls clicks. I'm not going to say you can. I can tell when someone says something just to get a rise out of the 49er faithful. You know why? Because we respond. We will clap back and we will go and recruit other people. Yo, did you see what this guy just said? We'll tag him on it and stuff. Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly. Like we load up.
We say click, click, boom. What you expect us to do?
Right. We load up and we come firing, guns blazing, right? But like we have to realize that we're giving these people more notoriety, right? When they post these tweets that say these asinine things, what you see is how many likes, how many retweets, and how many comments. You can't tell how many comments say, yo, you're crazy. All you can tell are how many comments. So now all of a sudden that tweet looks super successful. Regardless of what people are saying, you've read it, you've responded it, and you have given it more promotion. Stop responding to these clowns that dump on our team when you know they're only doing it for clicks and likes, man. We got to stop letting people eat off of our team, man, especially when they're trolling. Especially
all the fake Niner fans.
Right. Start showing some love to the people who have been batting for your guys all along. Start showing love for people who thought the Niners were going to go 13-3 last year, even though they only won 4 games. You know what I'm saying? Start showing love to people who thought the Niners had a playoff roster. People were saying that the Niners had the worst roster in the NFL last year when the season started. The worst roster in the NFL. And what happened at the conclusion? Hey, our GM got GM of the year, right?
Yes, he did. Now, I didn't say we were going 13-3 like 49er Mike over here. But if you check my tweets and you check the 49ers tweets, I said we were going to the Super Bowl. Now I did say that.
Yes,
and
sir.
It reminded me. They actually asked me for the lottery numbers. That's what they asked me for. And when they tweeted me back. But you're absolutely right. And you know what, Mike? I'm a victim of clapping back, man. I'm a clap backer real quick, yo. I think Mike saw somebody said something to me or whatever, and Mike was like, "That's a fake account, Breezy." I'm like, "Oh."
Right.
He got mad. He got mad response though. Like, you know what I'm saying? I get where you coming from, bro.
Right. We gotta be careful where we put that energy out there, man, because now it's a negative energy because we're responding negatively. Like, oh, you're crazy, you're stupid, you don't know what you're Don't let these people feed off of you guys, man. You guys, your tweets are valuable. I don't know what the dollar amount is or whatever. I can't put a dollar sign on it, but I will tell you this, man. They bank on you guys responding. Anybody right now who goes out and tweets that the Niners are going to be 13-3 this year, I promise you, it'll be the most popular tweet on Twitter. It will be, and nobody believes that. Nobody believes that. But if someone were to tweet it right now, that tweet is going to blow up. Don't give them that energy, guys. Don't give them that energy. All right. Reserve it for people who deserve it. That's what I want to say. Reserve it for people who deserve it. Damn. That sounds good, don't it? That sounds like a slogan, right? That's crazy. I just right off the top. All right, guys. Any final thoughts for you guys, man? Let's get up out of here. We want to keep Jimmie Ward and we want to keep Jimmy Garoppolo at number 2 for now.
Just this comment from Brian real quick says Wilson near his ceiling. Jimmy better this year. Concentrate only on play, not protecting the knee. Will be great in 2021. G-Day Breezy.
There you go. So, Breezy, any final thoughts from you, my
appreciate that, Brian.
Thank you so much, Brian, for your contribution. Final thoughts, man. Listen, man. Like, I know people think that I'm on some, I'm on ET's, whatever it is or whatnot. And that's not what this is, man. Like, when players become available, you know what I'm saying? I'm just playing the devil's advocate and I'm just putting it out there in the atmosphere, guys. And whether you guys are with it or you're not, like, we never know what the 49ers are going to do, right? Because like we said, we've been talking about Trent Williams for almost 2 years, and it happened. Mm-hmm. So it just has to be the right situation at the right time. You know what I'm saying? And for that situation that Nick and I was talking about earlier with the left tackle position being of a need opposed to a luxury or a want, we needed a left tackle because we were losing a Pro Bowler and we gained a Pro Bowler. So that was definitely a plus and an up and up situation. With the Earl Thomas situation, who knows what might happen? They probably tried. They did go after Earl Thomas and they didn't go after Earl Thomas in the offseason.
That was a shock that they said they never even placed a call about him.
Okay, so who knows? Things might happen. Contract might be cheap. I'm not sure what happens when a player gets cut. Does that mean that the next team picks him up, takes their contract, or how that worked? Just came off drop. Oh man, I'm out. I'm out. Even Mo's not on. He not even on the show. I'm out.
Hey, and then my final thought is going to be this. We already recapped everything, but we want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers tomorrow. This is sincere from every single one of us. We talked about it before the show. We want to say that we appreciate all the mothers out there. What I'm not going to do is talk about the fathers who are playing the mothers, and I know those guys are out there, but this is not the day for you. Shout out to the mothers, the women out there putting in that work, raising those children, especially if you have young children who are at home right now. You are the teachers also. All right, this is still Teachers Appreciation Week. You guys are wearing multiple hats. You normally wear multiple hats. We love you ladies out there. Thank you guys for everything you do for us, for the children, and the future generations out there. Keep on raising your children the right way. We want to thank you guys, and that's going to be it for us, man, tonight. Anything else, fellas?
Nah. Happy Mother's Day, everybody.
Happy Mother's Day.
I don't know.
Enjoy your day tomorrow.
Right. That's going to say, I don't know if we're going to be back tomorrow. A lot of us have stuff to do. It turns out I've got 2 parades to drive through because we're going to our mother's houses. I didn't even know. My wife is telling me tonight that we're doing drive-by beeping for the mother. So I don't know if we're going to have time to do a show, and that's why we wanted to say it today.
Just don't do drive-bys with the click, click, boom.
Mike could be click, clank.
Y'all already know how I get down, bro. But yeah, man, we wanted to say Happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. Thank you guys for rocking with us. We really appreciate you. All right. And that's going to be it. Prepare for glory.
Anticipate pain.
But always remain faithful.
We out of here. Peace.
Peace out,